welcome along and welcome back to the Old Stream Farm. It is finally time to get our final harvest of vines in, but first we've had a lot of wool over the last few days, so we need to get those all loaded up and delivered up to our spinnery so that we get the maximum amount of fabric out when we come to do our selling in a little bit. Now, we've got a few choices to make here, and it's quite an interesting one. I can take the the grapes we do today and make raisins, which I think will make slightly less money. We do have a whole load of raisins. It is September and it is best selling time for raisins. So what we'd be able to do is basically produce raisins today and sell them tomorrow. I don't know if it'll get them all through. I'm very, very tempted to go and do that though. Otherwise, I think what we might end up doing is just making lots of grape juice from it and then forwarding through to January for our final episode, selling off anything that has been created and converted during that time. And then basically, yeah, just making as much money as we can for the final run. We are up to 83,000 in total. We are still having a little bit of cost, obviously, for our harvester. That's going out every month, and we're likely to lose a load of cost to it today because, of course, we're using it. But, of course, all of that goes towards us buying it as well. You can see all of the wool disappearing off the back. Have we got it all? I think we've got it all. Let's go have a look. Yeah, we've got it all. So, yeah, we've got really a couple of choices to make. We're still making fabric here. You can see we've got a decent amount of fabric coming out, so that's going to make us a load of money. We will probably sell off wool as we get closer to the end, because we aren't going to be able to convert it to fabric very quickly. This is such an awkward place to turn around such a large trailer. I already used the other trailer, but I thought I was going to have more wool to drop off. So, yeah, we're in a position where we've got a lot of stuff to sell off today. We've got a lot of stuff to make money with and get harvested in. And we could easily make enough to either pay off our loan if we're really lucky, or at the very least to buy the harvester. As many people said in the comments, if we get either of those things done, I think that counts this series as a success, because we started from scratch. We had 500,000, 200,000 of which was a loan, and we've made a really profitable vineyard out of it. Either way I look at it. Right, we're going to be using the trailer again later. We're going to be using one of our trailers. It might not be this one. But what I want to do first is we need to get our harvester out, and we're going to use the Vultra for the carting this year, because it's got less hours on it really than my Kubota, and I think it would be a really useful little tractor for this, seeing as it's also not a tractor that has to go down the vines, down our rows to do this. So yeah, our little Vultra works best. And we're going to start off on the old cow meadow. So I'm going to go and grab the harvester, and we'll get started. So like we did last year, we are going to do alternate rows with this. We will unfold the harvester. We will go into the first row, line it up, start it up. Oh, no. Okay, I thought I'd unfolded it. There we go. Right, start her up. And we've got no GPS on this harvester. That would be one of the first upgrades I'd do to this once we bought it, would be to get some GPS on here, get these rows lined up, and make things a lot easier for us getting these out, especially on this meadow where these aren't quite straight rows, and as a result makes it so much harder for us. The aim today is to get all of our grapes harvested. If we can get all of these into the factory, we can get all of them processing, and then I just need to keep the factory running for the next few days to get everything processed, and make sure that we have the best output we can. And I think from that point of view, it is going to be worth getting everything moving forward to January to get our best sell price. See what we make. There would still be plenty of time after that to get these rows and everything defoliated and sorted. In fact, I think that would probably be the best way to do it. We did defoliate last autumn, in the autumn last time, but we couldn't do much beyond that because the grass hadn't grown up amongst these rows. I think that's not such a huge problem. You've got a lot of time early in the year to do that, and sometimes you just get the angle slightly wrong and you get stuck on your vines. But yeah, there'd be plenty of time, I think, to get this up and running again and sorted for next year's harvest. It's just, yeah, great to be in this position where we've got all of our vines started. And I think if you continue to continue on from here, this is the point at which you can start adding the arable parts to it. So we've got lots of vines. It's a couple of days worth of work really to get them all harvested, and then you can head in and you've got the harvest that kicks off a couple of months earlier, bring in more money and just make the whole farm work for you. Again, this farm, this vineyard, is based off buying 2 pieces of land, the main farmyard and field 5, and it has become a profitable, workable vineyard from just that. We're about a third of the way through the field and we are at 97% full. So I'm just going to turn this around and get the next row, which I've come in at slightly the wrong angle for. And we should be able to pull in slightly into the row. Might give us a full tank. If it does, it's not the end of the world, because I'm going to go and get the Vulture and get us emptied out. There we go. That will do there. Let's go grab the Vulture. And now I can just pull this up behind and unload. So let's get as close as we can without clipping it. Yeah, there we go. Pull up behind, and we do actually have to empty this. So how's that for lineup? Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Let's empty it out. All done. Let's yeah, I'm just gonna jump out and move the tractor out of the way, because otherwise it's gonna have problems later. So let's just bring this up to the corner here, and off the side up here should do it. There we are. Turn that off. Trailer and everything's out the way, and back to harvesting the grapes. Over halfway through the field, and we are coming up to another full tank. I don't know if I'll make it the whole way through this row, so what I'm going to do is just back this up and get this into position, and then we'll bring the Vulture here and empty. 95% is pretty good. Actually, can I make it the whole way through this row? Let's give it a try. 90, it might be a bit close. 96, 97. This is gonna run out of space right before the end of the row, right there. Yeah, knew that was gonna happen. That's all right. We'll carefully reverse it back, trying not to hit any of the posts as we do so. And I was right to think to empty it before we got into the road. But that's all right. Let's go get the tractor and get it in position. We were 51% full off the first load, so this should fill our trailer up. Getting 3 trailers off this, or 3 loads from our harvester off this field would be really good. And it very much looks like that might be the case. So let's unload that. And yeah, that's awesome. And as I suspect, this is not completely going to empty this. That's all right. What we're going to do, though, is we'll turn our harvester off. And then we'll jump in the Vulture. Time to head off down to our grape factory. So first 6,000 litres of grapes ready to tip into the factory. And yeah, those are our raisin boxes. So we've got those to sell later. I think, I don't know, I'm very tempted to do raisins and see how far we get. But I think we'll make that decision a little later in the day. See where we are, see what we can do, but we can certainly make a load of money off raisins now. I think raisins are slightly less profitable than the grape juice is, the wine is. So it's going to be a case of, I think I really want to do the wine. I think I really want to finish off with a nice big amount of wine. If we've got the time to process it, we can get it all processed before next time. We'll sell it off in January and we'll make the maximum profit we can and see if we can end this series on a real high. We've got 2 more rows to go on this field, but we're coming very close to being full again. So I'm just going to turn this around here and get to the start of the next row. And again, we will empty into our trailer. That should mean that we have, yeah, at least another half full trailer off this field. Plus a little bit if I was to empty it out at the end. But I'm not going to. We'll go straight on to the next field once I have done this. Really good yield off here this year, though. Very, very happy with what we've managed to get. And this is going to make a massive amount of profit. It is, I think, 5-to-4 ratio for conversion of grape juice to... grapes to grape juice. 5-to-4. So we've got 6,000 already. That would give us 4,800 litres of grape juice, which I think is worth, let's have a look in here. So that would be worth at top price about 12,000, probably about 13,000. Well, actually, no, closer to 14,000 pounds for that. Whereas raisins on a 1-to-1 for 6,000, 6 times 2 is 12. Yeah, do you know what? It might actually be comparable. It might be very similar. And in fact, best price right now is for raisins. So I think we would struggle to get that best price if we were to do raisins. We are going to be selling the raisins we've got today. But yeah, I think grape juice and selling it in January is the way to go for our final time. We'll have lots of other stuff to sell in January as well. So it should be a really, really good final sell-off on the farm. It looks like field 1 is going to be good for about 2 full harvesters full. We've got a full harvester at this point, which includes the last couple of rows from the previous field. So I might have to back that up a little bit and unload it. But yeah, so this is going to be our second 12,000 litres heading up to our grape factory. And then we've just got this field to finish. And then we're going to start moving on to the new vines, which is going to be very interesting. Right, harvester off because we've got a bit of a trip to go on. And yeah, 5,976, just short of a second full trailer, but still roughly around 6,000 litres. I love working this field. It's such a picturesque part of the farm. You've got the old French buildings in the background, and as you sort of pan around, you've got the bottom of the old stream and our sheep pasture there, and it's just so picturesque and such a lovely part of the map. A beautiful backdrop to be working against, and if you can keep your harvester nice and straight on the vines, it's also a really lovely, easy place to work too. And we're coming up on another full harvester at 95% full. There's no way we're going to make it the whole way through this row. Let's see if I can line myself up on it, though. Can we get this to 3,000 litres? 80, 87. There we go. 3,003. That should be enough. Let's pop over here, grab our tractor, and get it under the unload chutes. This little G series of Ultra has worked great as a carting tractor for this. Previously, we've used one of the vineyard tractors for it. We've never really used this, but I'm actually quite liking using the G series for this. It gives the Kubota a bit of a rest. The Kubota does a lot of the other heavy work around here, and our Antonio Carrera, which does some of the smaller, less heavy work. And just means that we end up using all of the tractors on the farm instead of just relying on one all the time. And that empties out our last harvester full from this field. So I'm going to go and take this over to our new area down here in the yard. And then we'll move the harvester over to there once we've got one more row done. Liking this new field, there's a lot of space to turn around at the ends. I've given myself a good amount of room with these roads at the end here and the field that comes on at this point. You can turn just in time. The two trees I've left are a little bit in the way, but not massively so. And it works really, really well. Then at the other end, we've got a really good amount of space to turn around in the yard, right up until we hit that area over there where the ramp goes up. And then I'm not sure I've quite left myself enough space to turn around. Looking at how much space this harvester takes, it is quite a large area. So looking at this, I come out the end, I turn quickly, and yeah, already, and this is a row that is further back. Already I've got no space, so it's going to be a very tricky turn, I think, on those rows. Just as we're getting into them. So, yeah, it's not great. The other thing is, of course, we're coming up to the end here. We are about 80% full. So I think we probably only got another couple of rows until we need to unload this too. All in all, I think this has been a fairly successful field. I think we're going to have to remove, or would have to remove, a couple of vines from, or a section of vines from the far end to get this field to work properly next year. But for now, it definitely seems to be working really, really well. And we've hit 100% just as we're turning around to get to this end. And yeah, I did manage to turn around without too much difficulty. I think the best thing might be to try and smooth out this here and make this much more of a more angled area up here. There's not a lot we got going on here. We have talked about putting possibly some hives or something up there, but in general, I think it just needs smoothing and making easier to turn the harvester around in that space. Wouldn't be too difficult to do, wouldn't affect the road too much. In fact, you could change the movement of the road if you wanted to, and the position of the road. Plenty of space here to get the tractor in to empty at this point. Let's jump over. Oh, can't quite jump those vines. Let's jump in, back it up a little bit, and yeah, we are nice and full. 3,100 litres of grapes. So we're not going to get them all into here, but that's not a problem because we still have the rest of this field to do. 2 full tanks off here would be great as well. Our harvester has just dropped over into its second hour of work, and yeah, 5,000 out of our pot in order to do that, but that is £5,000 closer to buying the harvester as well. So not too bad, to be honest. I don't mind paying that when our ultimate goal is to actually buy this harvester, and so yeah, this is going to go towards that as well. All in all, though, this field is producing pretty well. We're up to another 71%. I'm expecting by the end of this field we might get a second tank out of it, which would be really good. Turning around on the very last row actually wasn't that bad. It was a little bit more, required a little bit more back and forth than usual, but I was still able to turn around in the space I had there without too much hassle. So maybe it's not actually too bad. I think we're actually doing okay with this field. Up to 81% now. Yeah, I think this row and the last one, we should get another full tank out of here. That will be our 7th tank, I think. Yeah, we've got 3 trailers that have gone. One from the first field, one from the second field, and one from here, plus the tanks worth that we have on here. So yeah, we're looking at coming up to 7 full tanks or full-ish tanks off of here for our harvest, which is really good. In fact, 91%. I'm going to empty the harvester now. We're not quite. Trouble is, we're at 2,800, so this is unlikely to give us a full trailer. We might have to empty out at the end of the field again, just simply because I want to make sure that when I'm taking trailers up to the factory, we're taking full trailers and not like that second one we had, which was ever so slightly short. So yeah, let's empty this out because we're not going to make the end of this row, and then we'll move on to the next field. And I might just put what I've got in here into the trailer when I get to the end of this row. Leave the tractor and trailer here, empty as I pass, because I think that'll make sense. Why do we have the roadway up here? So that we can start on this row here, which is well back from the others, and just makes it easier to get at and start in the right place. So I did place the couple of 100 litres that we got off that last row into our trailer, just so that we have a nice empty tank coming up to here, and we're more than half full on the trailer. And then we should absolutely be taking a full trailer up to the grape factory next time. We're about a third of the way through this field, and we're close enough to a full tank that I'm going to need to empty it because these rows are too long for that. So let's get the tractor, and we're just over half full on this trailer. Oh, I was hoping there was a way through here. I'll have to squeeze down the side of the field, and ooh, that's right on the edge. Yeah, could do the roadway up there. I think if I owned that field, there would definitely be a roadway up there to access this side of the field, because at the moment, it's not an easy thing to do. And in fact, I'm going to turn this tractor and trailer around because we need to get there. But yeah, there's not an easy route to this side of the field now. So we need to sort that out. However, we can get here. And we did run over a little bit of that farmer's cotton crop. Really interesting crop for France. That is cotton, isn't it? Yeah, that is cotton. Right. Way. Not back into our trailer. Let's empty out into it instead. And yeah, so this is our 4th full trailer. That is 32,000 litres roughly of grapes. In fact, look how close I got that. 4 litres. That's fantastic. We could end up with 5 full trailers from this harvest. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely incredible. Yeah, look, this G-Series only just fits between these rows. Yeah, I wouldn't like to do too much work with this in here. I think it would be a little bit nerve-wracking all the time. Good enough for us to be able to get out and go and tip, though. I think my calculation might have been a little bit wrong there. This is our 4th trailer full. Yeah, so this should be 24,000 liters we've got in here. I am going to give that a quick check though before we leave. So get that tipped. Watch those all go in. In fact, it tells me here we've got 17,000 liters. Yeah, 18,000 in here. So that takes me up to 24,000 liters, or just shy of. I think it's 23,976. So it's a tiny amount short. So one last trailer will take us up to 30,000 liters, which would be a huge amount. In fact, if my very rough calculations are correct, 30,000 liters of grapes should yield us enough for, well, about 120,000 pounds. Roughly, which is just incredible, because it's a 4 to 5 ratio, or 5 to 4 ratio. So for every 5,000 liters of grapes, we get 4,000 liters of wine. Now that would give us roughly 24,000 liters of wine, which is then multiplied by I think it's about 3,000 a go, which is that's not right. I think it's a lot more than that, if I remember correctly. So grape juice is worth over 3,000. Okay, so it may not be quite as high. I multiplied it by 5 for some reason. But yeah, so actually it should be about 75,000. Oh, I've managed to completely fill this up. So this is what I was talking about, needing to empty it earlier than you think it should be, because we've got to back out of most of this row to empty this. Maybe it's only worth about 74,000. It's one of those things when you start thinking about it, it actually isn't worth quite as much as I thought it was. But I am really, really quite happy with that. I know what I did wrong. I went and multiplied it by 5 and then took 4/5 of that to try and give me the number. So it's not 120,000. It is, I need to multiply it by 3, which is 90,000, and then take 4/5 of that, which, yeah, is about 75,000 roughly. So even so, that is a very nice amount. Should put us up into the £150,000 range by that point, and that is just the grapes. You know, that doesn't count the mountain of lettuce we're going to have to sell, the mountain of fabric we're going to have to sell. There's an awful lot of stuff that is going to need to be sold when we come to the end of this in the near future. That is going to give us a whack load of money. I think there is more than one full tank left on this field. We are, yeah, in fact, we have a full harvester before we reach the end of this row. So we're just going to pull this out the end and get this emptied, which is something we haven't really done yet with this harvester. But I think, yeah, I think we have at least a full tank left on here. It might be slightly less than a tank. Oh no, it might be slightly more than a tank. I think it's definitely a tank's worth. We've got, yeah, we're going to have a little bit left over in our harvester after we empty as well, because there is 6,000. Well, we've got 3,100 already in the trailer, and we're trying to put another 3,100 in there. We are without a doubt going to have a couple of hundred liters left in the harvester, and yeah, there is easily a tank left here. I don't think it's 2. I don't think there's quite 2 tanks here, but I do think a single tank plus a bit is there, so we should get well over 30,000 liters. There we are, 95% full, 3 rows to go. There are definitely more than a tank full here. which is brilliant. We'll pull in a little bit into this row, empty out, and then what we can do is just finish these off. We should finish down the far end, but that's not a huge issue. Yeah, there we go. 2,988. That's perfect. We are not quite far enough out. Let's back it out a little bit more. Right. And I'm going to go and get this and get it emptied. And that brings us to the end of our final row. Another 1,400, nearly another half of a tank. That is 11 tanks off here of grapes. That is huge. That is just a massive, massive amount of grapes off this farm. And again, as I said, off what originally started as 2 pieces of land. So I'll get these emptied out into this trailer. We'll go and tip that. And then I'm going to take our little telly truck and our trailer up to the grape factory. We will get the raisins loaded up, get those sold for today, and then we will get the production started on the wine ready to sell in our final episode. Almost got all the raisins loaded up, just this and 2 other boxes to go, and then we can get them sold and start getting the money, or the remainder of the money, in from last year's grape crop. That's the amazing thing of these. This is the grape, or this is the raisins from the last grapes that we had not quite processed last year. That was because, not because we ran out of time to process them, but because we didn't move enough stuff out of the way to get them processed in time. So I will be making sure that I keep the area clear over the coming months until we come to sell, and we maximize the amount of grapes we can get off here. All in all, I'm fairly happy with this. This has been a really good run through, and to possibly send us, well, this might send us over 100,000 with the amount of grapes we've got here, or the amount of raisins we've got here, which is humongous if we can get that to happen. So that onto there, that onto there. Do let me know in the comments. And something I thought about, best price for lettuce is normally December. So should we go and sell the lettuce off between now and next video, or do you want to see that sell-off happen and see how much we get for it actually on video? Speaking of which, where is the best place for us to sell these raisins? Right now in September, we're looking for 2,700. It is just the farmers market at 2,800 per 1,000 liters. And we've got 10,000 liters of raisins on here. That is absolutely massive. So we're looking at about £28,000 for this lot. Sell them all off. And there we go. A whopping £28,030 for this. Sends us over the £100,000 mark. And with that, what a perfect place to end for this video. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.